Hello, and welcome back to Enlightened Turtle. In today's video, we shall take a quick look at the London Stone. Was it brought from Hisarlik, by Brutus in the 6th century BC, or is it native to Britain? Let us dive straight into this one. The tradition that the London Stone came from Troy primarily comes from Geoffrey of Monmouth's Historia Regum Britanniae. In this 12th century work, Geoffrey describes Brutus of Troy bringing the stone with him to Britain. Brutus, described as a descendant of the Trojan hero Aeneas, is said to have led Trojan exiles from Rome to Hisarlik, the mainstream location of ancient Troy, and then to Britain, where he renamed the island from Albion to Britain. According to Geoffrey, Brutus's story begins with him accidentally killing his father, leading to his exile from Italy, before the time of Roman emperors. This exile marks the start of his legendary journey. As he travels across the Mediterranean, Brutus gathers followers, who are fellow Trojans and other exiles attracted by his leadership and the promise of a new homeland. For me, this is Brutus returning to his ancestral homeland in Britain, the location of the Trojan War, with Troy being Wandlebury Ring on the Gog-Magog Downs, and you shall see why the stone helps vindicate this theory. During his travels, Brutus stops in Gaul, modern-day France, where he and his followers engage in battles, further consolidating their group and strengthening his leadership. Finally, Brutus and his assembled followers cross the Channel and arrive in Britain, where he is said to have founded a new Trojan kingdom. The historical legend, with its various interpretations and retellings, blends mythical elements with cultural narratives of the ancient Britons, and while it might seem inconsistent by modern historical standards, it serves a symbolic purpose in a larger framework. The London Stone, as it is known today, can be found embedded in a building on Cannon Street in London. Historically, it has been relocated multiple times due to urban development and preservation efforts. Its current location is marked with a plaque, and it has been incorporated into the fabric of the city, reflecting its continued cultural significance. The city itself has gone through many changes since the days of Brutus, or his descendants such Lud, who expanded London greatly during his reign. According to British history, it was King Lud who expanded London. King Lud is a prominent figure in Welsh and British mythology, also mentioned in Geoffrey of Monmouth's Historia Regum Britanniae. He is credited with making significant improvements to the city, which was then known as Trinoventum or Troia Nova, New Troy. In honor of his contributions, the city was renamed Saar Lud, a name that eventually evolved into London. In contrast, King Lear is another legendary figure from the same sources, but his story is more focused on his personal and familial saga, particularly his relationship with his 3 daughters. This tale is famously dramatized in William Shakespeare's play King Lear. Scholars and historians have debated the authenticity of the London Stone's connection to Brutus of Troy. Some view the stone purely as a medieval invention designed to bolster national identity and royal legitimacy. Despite the numerous changes and upheavals in British history and the many usurpers, the stone has remained a point of cultural and historical interest, symbolizing the enduring nature of British identity and heritage. In contemporary times, the London Stone continues to capture public imagination. It has been featured in historical tours and educational programs. Additionally, some modern neo-Druid and pagan groups have incorporated the stone into their rituals because of its link to Britain's ancient spiritual traditions. Another part of this tale adds that the stone had been part of an ancient prophecy, which claimed that the rightful ruler of Britain would possess the stone and thus secure the land's prosperity and stability. This belief made the London Stone a coveted artifact for anyone seeking legitimacy and power. Additionally, some stories depict the stone as having traveled across various locations in Britain, with it being moved and revered at different sites. There were stories that connected the London Stone to the Stone of Scone, also known as the Stone of Destiny, a historic Scottish artifact used in the coronation of Scottish kings. Some legends claimed that the Brutus Stone was an early version of this stone. In British tradition, the London Stone became a powerful symbol of sovereignty. It was believed that all British kings must be descendants from Brutus, reinforcing their claim to the throne through a direct connection to the Trojan descendant of Aeneas. This lineage was a crucial aspect of the mythological history of Britain and Rome, tying the island's royal bloodline to the ancient and heroic past of the Trojans. The association with magical properties and its role as a symbol of royal legitimacy reflects the ancient Welsh and medieval British belief in the stone's power and its significance in the ceremonial and symbolic landscape of Britain. These elements of mythology and history intertwine to underscore the stone's importance as a marker of Britain's ancient origins and its enduring cultural heritage. Historical investigations into the London Stone, conducted by antiquarians like William Stukeley and later by geologists such as Professor J.R. Mortimer, has explored its significance in British cultural history, as we shall come onto. Geological studies of the stone reveal it is comprised of oolitic limestone, and studies of the land reveal that oolitic limestone is widely available in Britain. For example, the Cotswold Hills are known for their extensive deposits of this type of limestone, and Portland stone, another variety of oolitic limestone, is sourced from the Isle of Portland. Another location that was brought to my attention was a quarry Ecliptium, of the same stone. Thank you, Marchell, for pointing this out. These British limestones share common characteristics, including the size and composition of the oids. Oids are small, spherical grains found in certain types of sedimentary rocks, particularly in oolitic limestone, which reflect the local environmental conditions where they were formed. Something called petrographic analysis of the London Stone, which involves examining thin sections of the limestone under a microscope, shows that its mineral composition and texture are consistent with those of local British oolitic limestone. Historical records also indicate that local limestone was commonly used for construction and monuments in Roman Britain, supporting the notion that the London Stone originated from a British source. Moreover, there is no evidence suggesting that the limestone used for the London Stone came from Anatolia, the location of Hisarlik and Schliemann's Troy. The known oolitic limestone from Anatolia would have different mineralogical and textural properties compared to British varieties. Research into the composition of the London Stone has not revealed any features that would indicate an Anatolian origin, further reinforcing the conclusion that the stone aligns with British sources. Investigations of the London Stone were conducted by antiquarians such as William Stukeley in the 18th century, who provided historical context but did not perform detailed petrographic analyses. Instead of emphasizing its legendary significance and its supposed connection to ancient British history and the Druids. His work, including Stonehenge 1740 and the Itinerary of John Leland 1770, touches on various historical and mythical aspects related to the stone. As geological techniques advanced, more precise studies were undertaken in the 19th and early 20th centuries. One notable example is the work of Professor Mortimer, a prominent geologist known for his studies of British building stones. Mortimer and his contemporaries employed more sophisticated methods, including thin section microscopy, to analyze the mineral composition of the London Stone. These petrographic studies involved examining thin slices of the stone under a polarizing microscope to identify the mineral content and texture. The results were compared with oolitic limestone from various British quarries, such as those in the Cotswolds in Portland. These analyses demonstrated that the London Stone's characteristics were consistent with local British oolitic limestone, reinforcing the conclusion that it likely originated from Britain rather than being imported from other regions. In a nutshell, these studies indicate a local origin of the London Stone, aligning its composition with known British limestone sources. It seems the Brits who claimed descent from Brutus certainly believed it came from Troy. Several sites in Britain known for using oolitic limestone have been traditionally dated to the Iron Age but have been re-evaluated by researchers like Iman Wilkins, Lawrence Waddell, and Rev. Richard Morgan, who suggested that some of these sites date back to the Bronze Age or earlier. This form of oolitic stone usage far predates medieval legends and has been found at ancient sites across these lands. Here, we have just a few sites to look at. Uffington Castle, located in the Cotswolds, this hill fort, traditionally attributed to the Iron Age, features significant use of oolitic limestone. Archaeological evidence, including finds dating to around 1800 BCE, suggests that the site may have been in use during the Bronze Age. Cotswold long barrows and round barrows also. These monuments, such as the Bella's Knapp Long Barrow c. 3000 BCE and the West Kennet Long Barrow c. 3650–3500 BCE, are generally dated to the Neolithic or Bronze Age. The use of oolitic limestone here indicates earlier dates. Birdlip Bronze Age artifacts found at Birdlip Barrow c. 1800 BCE suggest that oolitic limestone was utilized earlier than traditionally believed. The site of Birdlip in Gloucestershire is known to have used oolitic limestone. The area, which has been associated with various archaeological finds from the Iron Age, is located in a region abundant with oolitic limestone deposits, particularly from the Cotswold Hills. This type of limestone was utilized in the construction of structures and monuments in the area, and the local quarries have provided stone for various building projects historically. Glastonbury archaeological evidence of Neolithic and Bronze Age structures at Glastonbury, dating back to around 1500 BCE, indicates significant architectural and ceremonial practices before the Roman or Brutus 650 BC period. While there are significant archaeological finds from the Neolithic and Bronze Ages in Glastonbury, finds such as the remains of the Glastonbury Lake Village, these do not prominently feature oolitic limestone, but it is found in abundance in the alleged Romano-British period. These findings suggest that advanced use of oolitic limestone and construction practices existed during and long before the Roman era, as far as the Bronze Age and Neolithic. This aligns with the idea that advanced engineering techniques and materials were not solely Roman of earlier Greek innovations, but may have been developed by earlier British inhabitants, i.e. Brutus or the Trojans Dardanians, may be earlier. Thus, if the London stone is indeed made of British oolitic limestone, and there is evidence of its use in British construction before Geoffrey's time of the 12th century, or the Romans in the 1st century BC, and the arrival of Brutus from the 11th century to 6th century BC, dependent on the chronological order one chooses to put faith in, then the legend itself needs reviewing. If the Brutus did come from Anatolia with this stone, then either the stone is a fake, or the stone did not originate from Anatolia. This could indicate that this part of his journey has either been fabricated or misinterpreted. For me, Occam's razor is clear here. If the stone is British, then the stone was most likely part of the ancient site of Troy in Britain. Brutus probably took the stone from the Bronze Age ruins of Wandlebury Ring, the destroyed Trojan citadel, and moved it to London, where it has remained ever since. But that is just what I think. What do you think? I would like to direct people to check out Marchell Abraham's book, The Great Migrations to Britain, for further analysis on these stones, and much more. Hopefully, you enjoyed this video. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.